I caught my fiance hooking up with my sister while I'm pregnant, and tomorrow I'm exposing everything at our family gathering. Some stories don't start with a big dramatic moment. They start quietly, with a woman finally letting her guard down, finally believing she'd found something real. This is one of those stories. And what makes it so painful is not just the betrayal, it's who did the betraying. Because when the person you love and the person who shares your blood decide to destroy you together, that's not just heartbreak. That's a wound that goes all the way to the bone. This is her story, and she told every single bit of it. The life she was building. She was 28, a mother already, raising her 4-year-old daughter mostly on her own. She wasn't looking for love, not really. She had her routine, her responsibilities, her quiet little world. But then he came along, patient, steady, warm. He didn't just pursue her. He showed up for her daughter, too. He'd place a gentle hand on the little girl's shoulder when she learned something new. He laughed with them. He made the house feel like a home. And slowly, then all at once, she fell for him. 3 years together, an engagement, a future she could finally picture clearly. He was the one who encouraged her to stop using birth control. He'd say things like, "We should think about having a child someday," and "I already consider your daughter my own." So she believed him. She trusted him. She let herself hope. And then one morning, she took a pregnancy test. The moment everything shifted. She saw the positive result and felt a wave of panic and excitement all at once. A new baby, a growing family, everything she'd ever wanted. But when she told him, silence. Not the quiet of someone processing happy news, the cold, heavy silence of someone who had already decided they didn't want this. He told her he wasn't ready, that money was tight, that maybe she should consider other options. Those words hit her like a punch to the chest. Overnight, the man she knew disappeared. He stopped talking to her. He started coming home late. His phone was always face down, always glued to his hand. He'd leave the room without explanation, and when she'd look at him, hoping, begging silently for just one sign of warmth, he'd look away. Her daughter noticed. A 4-year-old child noticed that something was wrong. She tried to stay calm for her little girl, but inside she was unraveling. She'd sit crocheting while her daughter colored nearby, and tears would just fall, quietly, without warning. She was grieving. Not just a relationship, but the version of her future she thought was guaranteed. She wrote about it online just to get it out, just so someone might understand. The truth she almost didn't want to find. Her gut told her something was off, so she started paying attention. Strange phone calls, social media notifications that disappeared too quickly. A man who used to be an open book suddenly locked shut. She investigated, and what she found broke something inside her that may never fully heal. He had been secretly hooking up with her older sister. Her sister, the one who'd hug her in front of the family and smile for photos. The one she'd always tolerated, even knowing she caused drama, even knowing she talked behind her back. She never, not in her worst nightmare, imagined her sister would crawl into her life this way. She read their messages. Every single word. They mocked her. They called her clueless. They laughed about how stressed she'd be raising another child alone. Her sister bragged that the whole family thought she was the more interesting, more popular sibling. And her fiance, the man who asked her to marry him, told her sister about the pregnancy before he ever had an honest conversation with her. They laughed about it, together. When she confronted him, he told her she was hormonal, that her imagination was running wild. Her sister texted her and told her to keep her mouth shut and stop being dramatic. She was done. The plan. There was a family gathering coming up. Ironically, it was supposed to be a celebration, a pregnancy announcement party. Her mother had organized it. Everyone would be there, including him, including her sister. She spent the night pulling together every piece of evidence she had. Screenshots, timestamps, their exact words in their own voices, in their own handwriting. She called her mother beforehand to warn her. She was ending the engagement, and people needed to be prepared. She was terrified. She knew she might burn everything. She knew she might lose any chance at a peaceful co-parenting situation. She knew people might call her dramatic, unstable, too pregnant to think clearly. But she also knew she couldn't keep pretending. She couldn't sit at a table surrounded by family, smiling and celebrating a pregnancy, while these two people laughed at her behind her back. She had one thing left, her dignity, and she was going to fight for it. She walked into that room. When she arrived, everyone was already seated. The living room was full. Her mother tried to pull her aside. "Let's talk first, let's be calm." But she walked straight past her. She stood in the middle of that room and asked everyone to listen. Her sister rolled her eyes. Her fiance mumbled something under his breath. And then she started reading. She read their messages out loud, word for word. She let the family hear how these two people spoke about her behind closed doors. She showed the timestamps, proof of every secret meeting, every lie, every moment he was sneaking around while she was home with her daughter. She revealed that he knew about the pregnancy before she'd even had a chance to feel anything about it, and that his first reaction was to joke about it with her sister. Her fiancé tried to shut it down. He said she was overreacting. He blamed her emotions, her pregnancy, her mental health. Then he stood up and stormed out of the room. Her sister stood up and called her a liar. Her voice cracked. And then she stormed out too, screaming that she was dramatic and making everything up. Her dad stared at the floor. Her mother looked like she'd seen a ghost. The room was silent, but everyone had heard it. Everyone knew. In the days that followed, her phone didn't stop buzzing. Her ex-fiancé alternated between, "I'm sorry," and "How dare you humiliate me?" No real remorse, just anger that he'd been caught. Her sister called her horrible names, said she'd ruined her reputation, refused to accept a single ounce of responsibility. She didn't know if the two of them were still seeing each other or if they were now turning on each other. Honestly, she didn't care anymore. She reached out to a lawyer. She had a daughter to protect and a pregnancy to figure out. She was scared about money, about being alone, about doing all of this without a partner. But she was no longer being trampled on in silence. She wrote, "I feel numb and heartbroken, but I also feel a strange sense of relief." That line says everything. She didn't win anything easy that day. She walked away from an engagement, fractured her family, and stepped into single motherhood with a baby on the way. By any measure, that is hard. That is devastating. But she also refused to be the woman who stayed quiet while people who claimed to love her made her the punchline of their private jokes. She refused to protect people who never once protected her. And sometimes, that's the bravest thing a person can do. If you're going through something that makes you feel like the walls are closing in, remember this woman. She was terrified. She was pregnant and heartbroken and shaking. and she still walked into that room. Whatever comes next for her, she faces it with her truth intact. And that, nobody can ever take that away.